Hello, it's Gabby here for you. Before we jump onto this week's podcast, I just want to let you know about 2 ways that you can work with me. First of all, I do one-to-one coaching and I do that via Zoom, so we can jump on a Zoom call at a time to suit you. The second thing I've got for you is an online coaching course that's 12 modules that you can download straight away now. There will be a link somewhere around these podcast notes. And this is the course that I've designed, and it's got everything in it that I wish I'd have known when I finished cancer treatment and I was lost. So you can download that course now and you can start working towards making this your happiest and healthiest year ever. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello there, it's Gabby here for you, and I hope this finds you well. This week, the topic is reflective journaling to close out the year and look forward to 2025. And I've talked about journaling briefly before in my podcast and what a great tool it can be to help with so many things. I'm going to tell you why this is really useful, particularly at this time of year, how you can use journaling to close out the year and set intentions for a brighter 2025. No matter what's happened to you this year, this is the time of year for reflection for me and to look forward to things I'd like to change, things I'd like to experience in 2025. This is really important for so many people that I know that have had a difficult year this year, whether it's illness, whether it's relationship problems. There's so much going on in the world at the minute. And I know, in the larger scheme of things, there is a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of bad things. There's a lot of change going on. Not all of that bad, but we can't always control that. But what we can control is ourselves and how we react to that. So we've got choices. I'm always going on about how we've got choices. We can choose how we respond to things. We can choose how we build our own resilience, no matter what challenges we've had. And I know if you're listening to this and you've had a tough year, as many of the people that I know have, my heart goes out to you. It absolutely does. So journaling can be a way for me to reflect on what's happened, put it in its place, learn some lessons. It can be really good for navigating significant life transitions, moving from one phase into the other. And, this time of year is going into a new year. It's always good to think about those things. My experience with reflective journaling when I was going through my cancer treatment, it's a long time ago now, thankfully, touch wood, nearly 17 years ago, my very dear friend Jackie sent me a lovely gift, and it was a journal. And I think she'd read somewhere that journaling was really good for processing your feelings if you're going through something difficult. And I really struggled with it. And I put this lovely journal in a book for so long. I put it in a drawer, for so long, because my thoughts were so dark. I was scared. I was frightened. I felt alone. I thought nobody could understand. I was so scared of dying at that time. I just didn't think I was going to see another year. I resisted it for so long. And then I'm a coach now. I've done coach training. I work with other coaches. And it's a tool that comes up time and time again that can really help people. And so as I've got into now journaling, I've really come to appreciate, how it's helped me to process difficult thoughts. I think, thankfully, I'm not a cancer patient anymore, but I still have difficult times, still have challenges in life, as we all do. And journaling for me has really helped me to put some of those things into perspective, to stop that sometimes, the washing machine of thoughts that's going around and round in your head when you can't see the wood for the trees. And life sometimes can feel a bit bleak. Journaling has really helped me get over those times. So I'm going to share that with you today. The process I went through, some suggestions of what you might want to do with your journaling to close down the year, and how you can help to look forward to better times ahead in 2025. So I'm going to give you a bit of a step-by-step process for journaling. I'm going to give you some techniques that will help you to identify lessons learned. I'm going to talk about gratitude. Again, I know I talk about gratitude a lot because it's so important, and areas of growth. And I'm going to talk about how to set achievable and meaningful goals for 2025. I'm not really big on New Year's resolutions, and I'm going to come on to that. Yeah, we all want to achieve things. I certainly do want to achieve things in my personal life, want to achieve things in my business. So I'm going to be setting some goals for that. But this is not a time for beating myself up and saying, oh, you didn't do well with that, or these are the things that you failed at. The past is the past. It's putting the past in its place, learning the lessons, thinking about mistakes that I've made. Could I do something different next time? Probably. And there's a saying I heard a long time ago, and I love this saying, and it's, no man steps in the same river twice. for he is not the same man, and it is not the same river. And that's the same for all of us. None of us are the same person that we were a year ago. Things change, experiences changes. Physically, I talked before how our bodies are constantly renewing. Your cells are dying and regenerating all the time. So you're literally not the same person you were a year ago. You're very different physically, but also we're different in the experiences that we've had. Some good, some maybe not so good, but they're all helping us to move forward if we use them in the right way. We can let challenges knock us down and defeat us, or we can use those challenges, I believe, to build our resilience, to learn things about ourselves, to learn and appreciate what's really important in life. And that sometimes it can be a tough lesson, but that has really helped me to think about how to set achievable and meaningful goals for 2025, for the year ahead. So first of all, why reflective journaling? So the benefits of journaling has really helped me to process emotions and experiences from the last year. So just sitting down and writing, I like to do this first thing in the morning, but it can be any time really. And it's not thinking about what I'm writing, just sitting down with a notebook and looking at that blank piece of paper. Nobody else is going to read this. It's just for you. It's a very personal thing. Just getting it down on paper, how you're feeling, what's worrying you, what's weighing on your mind. And then reflecting on that can provide clarity on, well, what's worked and what didn't. Because there's another expression is when you go through an experience, you either win or you learn. So if something doesn't work, what didn't work? What have I learned from that? What can I do differently in the future? And so when you're doing this reflection and journaling at the end of the year, it encourages a sense of closure and readiness for the future. So again, if this has not been a great year for you, my heart goes out to you, it really does. But let's put it in its place. It's behind us now. We can't change the past. We can get ready for the future, and we can put some things in place while being really compassionate and being kind to ourselves. Get ready for a brighter and better new year. Okay, so this is perfect for year end, this ritual, this journaling, because it's very symbolic. It's closing one chapter before starting another, and it creates a moment to pause, to celebrate wins and acknowledge challenges. And I know this time of year particularly, a lot of people are feeling overwhelmed. There's a lot going on. It can seem there's so much to do. But if you can find some time for yourself, I would suggest finding some time. It may be something you want to do. Sometimes there's a bit of a lull between Christmas and New Year, isn't there? Just make some time for yourself, a very nurturing thing for you to do, rather than just stuffing yourself with more chocolates and maybe more booze. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's a time for indulgence, but also create some time for yourself. Okay, I'd always encourage that as well. Let's start being kind to ourselves. So the process, I'm going to take you through the process now, and I'm going to give you some prompts. I'll say them all twice. You might want to write them down. A lot of people now do notes in their phone, which I do as well. But I do like for journaling. I've got a little journaling book. It could be nice to buy yourself as a present, a really nice journaling book and a nice pen, and sit down. So I'll give you these prompts, but I'm also going to do them and download them into a PDF document, and that will be attached to the show notes somewhere around here. If you're on social media, I'll be sharing these prompts on social media as well, because they're just prompts to get you thinking, okay? So I'll say them all twice, but don't worry if you don't want to write them down, because you can click and download the PDF file. So first of all, step back and look at what happened in 2024. So questions to ask: what were my biggest wins this year? What were my biggest wins this year? What challenges did I overcome? What challenges did I overcome? And what am I most proud of? What am I most proud of? And I had to really think about this. I've got a big wall planner on the wall next to me, so I had to go back and look at this and think, oh, yeah, I remember when I did that. Remember what happened. Oh, yeah, there are things that I've done that I'm proud of. Okay. Step 2 is to think about lessons learned. And this can be both personal, professional, whatever you want. But questions to ask yourself is, first of all, what did this year teach me about myself? How have I grown in confidence or resilience? How have I grown in confidence or resilience? And what habits or beliefs no longer serve me? What habits or beliefs no longer serve me? So I'm a big believer in sometimes we can be our own worst enemy, because things that we hold true as beliefs, things that we think are true, sometimes looking back, you think, actually, that's not true. And that belief has stopped me moving forward. And these are known in coaching language, if you like, as limiting beliefs. And there's a lot of coaching techniques that I can work with my clients on, of letting go of those limiting beliefs. And I've had to do that work on myself for a long time. I believe things about me that were no longer true. And so many people that I work with, so many people that I know, have got a deep-seated belief that they don't deserve to be happy, that they're not good enough, that other people are better than them. A lot of these beliefs, let them go. Okay. And if you need any help with that, reach out to me, because it's something that I'd love to work with my clients on. But these habits and beliefs can so often hold us back. But first of all, let's just acknowledge what they are. No judgment. We're not being harsh on ourselves. We're just putting it down there. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Try and cultivate almost a sense of curiosity about this, without beating yourself up, without being harsh on yourself, without punishing yourself for mistakes that you've made. Just be curious. Okay, what habits and beliefs have I got that no longer serve me, that I'm ready to let go of? And step 3, and I talk about gratitude all the time, and there's a good reason, because when you are fearful, when you're scared, when you're angry even, those are quite negative emotions to carry around with you. So if you can consciously focus on gratitude, and we've all got things we can be grateful for. If you're listening to this, you've either got a smartphone or a tablet or some device, you've got the internet, you've got, I hope, a roof over your head, you've got food in your fridge, you've got people around you who care for you. And quite often, it's very easy to think about the people who don't care for you, or the people that have hurt you, and let them become bigger than the people who really matter. So a couple of prompts for you here. Write down at least 5 things that you are grateful for in 2024. So write down at least 5 things that you are grateful for in 2024. Reflect on the people, experiences, or moments that brought joy. Reflect on the people, experiences, or moments that brought joy. And again, I had to look back on my planner, thinking about, God, so much has happened this year. And because so many things that have made me smile when I think, oh yeah, that was a lovely day, that was a lovely experience. And goodness me, again, it's quite easy to get hung up on people that are not very nice, that have said bad things about you. What about the people who love you? What about the people who respect you? What about the people who you enjoy being with? Think how grateful you are to have those people in your life. And it doesn't always have to be, people that I'm grateful for, people that I follow online that uplift me, that motivate me. I've talked before, I've stopped watching the news. I just can't bear it. But there's a lot of people that I follow now on YouTube. I listen to other people's podcasts, and they inspire me. They teach me things. They lift me up, and I'm grateful for that. What time to be alive. We have the internet. I'm sat here in my little bedroom, my home office, as I call it, talking to you. So I'm grateful for the internet, and grateful for the opportunities that I've got. When I was a little girl, I wanted to be a journalist, and somebody told me, stop dreaming, that'll never happen for you. Now I've got a podcast, and I've got a blog, and I write things, and I'm a coach. So think about the things that you've got to be grateful for. Okay. So the next segment I'm going to talk about really is looking forward to 2025. As I said before, I'm not really big into New Year's resolutions about changing everything in your life. If you want to do that, that's great, because I would encourage you to dream big. Think about your best, brightest, most wonderful life. What would it look like? And we can do that in a journal. This is just between you and the page. You can write down exactly what you want. So I'm going to give you some prompts. These, again, they're on the PDF. But ask yourself this question. If 2025 was my best year yet, what would it look like? If 2025 was my best year yet, what would it look like? And if I've got goals, what goals excite me the most? What goals excite me the most? And the next one, how do I want to feel by the end of next year? How do I want to feel by the end of next year? And this is a really great exercise to do. If you're thinking, well, there's changes you want to make in your life, whatever it is you want to achieve, just take a moment, take 5 minutes to think about how you're going to feel by the end of next year when you've achieved these goals. Because if they're big goals, you're going to have to do some work. You're going to have to take some steps to get to them. But think about that end point you want to get to. How are you going to feel when you've achieved it? Yeah, who are you with? What are you seeing? What are you feeling? How do you want to feel by the end of next year? Okay, so I'm, as I say, not really big onto New Year's resolutions, but I am big on setting intentions. So think about your feelings rather than rigid goals. So, for instance, how do I want to feel about my health, my career, my relationships, and self-care? How do I want to feel about my health, career, relationships, and self-care? What small steps can I take to create those feelings? What small steps can I take to create those feelings? And I am going to be talking a lot in January, not about New Year's resolutions and about ripping everything up, but I'm going to be sharing some stuff on social media and in my blog and in my podcast about 30 days of self-care. For a lot of people struggle in January. It's not always the happiest month for a lot of people. That would say the end of January, one of the days in January is apparently the saddest day in the year. But that's not my belief. I choose not to believe that. I think January for me is going to be about nurturing. 30 days of self-care is going to be tiny little tips of things that you can do every day to make yourself feel better, to really care for yourself. And I've talked about this before, thinking about baby steps, moving towards the person and who you want to be, how you want to feel. So if you just improve your self-care, for instance, by 1% every day, tiny thing, do a tiny thing every day. By the end of the year, you'll have improved 365%. So huge change by those baby steps build up. Okay. I'm all about that. It's all about being kind to yourself. And again, not beating yourself up with things that haven't worked in the past, thinking, okay, this is a new start. I'm going to do things differently in 2025. This is a really good one I'm going to suggest to you now, which is to create a word or a theme for 2025. So, for example, I'm not going to tell you what your word should be because it's very personal to you. And you might want to just sit for a minute, take a deep breath in, put your hand on your heart and think, what is the most important thing you want to achieve in 2025? Not a material thing, but what is the word or the theme for you? So an example might be growth. It could be resilience, joy, balance, abundance, love, whatever it is, it's very personal to you. So a theme is a really good thing for you to have that can help guide decisions and actions throughout the year. So for instance, I'll give you an example of this. If you were to say, my word for the year is growth, I want to personally grow, I want to learn new things, I want to develop myself. And then you saw a job advert for a job that's doing exactly what you do now with a lot more money. How would you feel about that? And if you are hanging on to your word or theme being, well, I'm all about growth, I don't want to go to another job that's doing exactly what I do now, where I'm not going to learn anything, I'm not going to get trained. Yes, I'm going to have a lot more money, so I might go on a nice holiday, might buy a new car, but actually I'm all about growth. That's what I want. So that job's not for me. Yeah, and I had another example of this is somebody that I knew who had created her own skincare range. And she did this when she had small children at home and she'd given up a 9-to-5 job, created this skincare range that was absolutely passionate about. It was, it was her baby. She'd created it, she'd marketed it. She was quite successful in her local area. And then she got a really good opportunity to promote her products in a big store near here. And immediately she thought, this is it. This is the break I've been waiting for. But actually, when she thought about what that would mean for her, it would mean long hours. She'd have to be at this stall in this shop. They were quite specific about the hours that she'd have to be there. So she'd either have to work long hours or she'd have to employ someone. And actually her theme was freedom. That's why she was doing this business, to give her freedom to be with her family. So again, it was a great monetary opportunity. She could have made a lot of money doing this, but it didn't give her freedom. So she turned it down because she knew what her theme was. She knew what she was about. She knew what was important. And quite often, if we haven't got a word or a theme, we can be swayed by things and it can feel like we're just bobbing along and not really in control of our own destiny. There's no right and wrong with this. It's what's important for you. Okay, so maybe take 5-10 minutes to think about what is your word or theme for 2025. And if you come up with one, please let me know what it is. I'd love to hear that. So practical tips for journaling. I'm going to go over this if you're not familiar with journaling. Very simple, really. Keep it simple. All you need is a quiet space, a pen and a notebook. Like I say, it's nice to treat yourself to a beautiful new notebook. I like doing that as well. And set a time limit if you're feeling overwhelmed by this. Just start with 20 minutes per session. And if you not sure where to start, you can start with a blank page and just write exactly what's in your head, or you can download the PDF that's accompanying this podcast and just listen to my prompts, the questions, and think, oh yeah, how do I feel about that? What comes up for me when I think about that? And just write it down. This is between you and your notebook. Nobody else has to see this. Okay, so I just want to say, really, I'm encouraging you to start journaling because it's given me so much clarity. It's given me so much help. It's been a really great tool for me for moving forward when I've had difficult times. And it's a gift that you're giving to yourself. How often do we give ourselves a gift? This time of year, it can be all about thinking about what we're going to give to other people, but how about giving a gift to yourself? And remember, it's not about perfection. Nobody's calling you out on this, but it's about honesty and growth. So if things haven't gone so well, if you've done things that you're not too happy with, just be honest about it and think, what am I learning? How am I growing from this? What can I do differently in the future? Do that with some compassion. Okay, so as I say, I've got a journaling guide PDF for you to download, but I'd love to hear back from you. Share with me anything that comes up for you while you're journaling. You don't have to share your inner secrets, but did this process work for you? What have you got from it? Has it made things clearer for you? Just let me know how it's helped. So thank you so much for listening. As always, it means the world to me to know that you're listening to me. Please can you subscribe to my podcast or leave a review or give me a rating, and please think about sharing this podcast with somebody who might benefit from it. As always, I'd urge you to stay safe, stay sane. Thank you, my darling. Speak soon. Bye-bye.